Brown University is on edge tonight after a deadly shooting during final exams. Authorities say at least 2 students are dead, several others injured, and the shooter is still on the loose. Natalie Brand has more.
The first 911 call came in shortly after 4 p.m. local time with reports of an active shooter on Brown University's campus in Providence, Rhode Island.
I can confirm that there are 2 individuals who have died this afternoon, and there are another 8 in critical status, though stable, at Rhode Island Hospital.
The suspect, who wore all black, has not been caught.
We do not have a shooter in custody at this time. There is a shelter in place in effect for the greater Brown University area.
Officials say the shooting took place in Brown's Barris and Holly building, which houses classrooms and labs for the university's physics and engineering departments. Students were taking final exams in the building at the time of the attack.
We're still in the finals period, so students who didn't have exams have left, but we are still conducting.
President Trump says he's been fully briefed.
What a terrible thing it is, and all we can do right now is pray for the victims and for those that were very badly hurt, it looks like. And we'll inform you later as to what's happening, but it's a shame.
Providence officials say this shooting, especially at this time of year, will take a heavy toll.
We are a week and a half away from Christmas, and 2 people died today and another 8 are in the hospital. So please pray for those families.
Officials say the university did not receive any threats in the hours leading up to the attack. Natalie Brand, CBS News.
Well, today the spirit of Christmas was in full swing. This is video captured from the Fort Smith Christmas Parade presented by the city and the Fort Smith Downtown Business Association. The parade featured festive floats, marching bands, and even an appearance from jolly old St. Nick. Well, the holiday season is a time for family and remembrance. Today, community members met at the Fayetteville National Cemetery for the Wreaths Across America ceremony to honor the lives and legacy of our nation's veterans. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman was there speaking with those who took part and learning why remembering our veterans holds a special meaning this time of year.
Standing among rows of headstones decorated with holiday wreaths, you can feel the honor.
My son is buried right over there, and this is my 15th Wreath Across America.
Wreaths Across America brought the community together in Fayetteville, turning a cemetery into a place of remembrance, gratitude, and honor.
You hear the stories, you see the people, you see the ones next year and then the next year, and they just keep coming back.
For many in attendance, this ceremony was more than a tradition. Some had stories, a reason for showing up, and a deep respect for those who served.
Over here. No, this is facing us. I don't have anybody that's here. We don't, but I think anybody who's a veteran is a comrade of mine.
Andrew Thompson, a Navy veteran, volunteered to honor his fellow service members, saying it feels personal to remember their sacrifices, especially during the holidays.
When we walk amongst the headstones and we look at the names, it's not just the one that we lay the wreath down to, but you know, the times that they served, the conflicts that are written on the stones themselves.
Memories of my dad and thinking about his service. He was always so proud of his service.
Steve Long, Secretary of the Regional National Cemetery Improvement Corporation, says his work is his way of honoring his father and all who served.
It's very important to honor the veterans and to keep the space for them and to have a respectful place where they can be.
Well, it's not just the names that are on the stones, it's the ones that didn't make it this far.
A powerful reminder, especially during the holidays, that honoring veterans means remembering all who served, including those who never made it home. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
Volunteers are also needed to help remove the wreaths on January 17th, giving the community another opportunity to honor and care for the final resting place for our veterans. Well, the University of Arkansas held 2 commencement ceremonies to celebrate the students who graduated from the university this semester. More than 1,600 students walked the stage, accepting both undergraduate and graduate degrees in fields like arts and sciences and law. And commencement ceremonies were also held at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith today. Over 300 graduates walked across the podium to receive their degrees and certificates. Among those graduates were the first cohort to graduate from the university's recently relaunched Associate of Applied Science in Nursing program.
Graduating with a badge.
In Syria today, 2 U.S. Army soldiers and a civilian interpreter were killed in Syria. According to the Pentagon, they were there supporting counterterrorism operations. The U.S. Central Command posted a statement on X saying that the gunman was, quote, engaged and killed.
We mourn the loss of 3 great patriots in Syria. You know how it happened. It was an ambush, terrible.
A Syrian government spokesperson said it had issued an intelligence warnings to the U.S. prior to the attacks about possible ISIS attacks in the region. The identities of the victims have not yet been made public. The House of Representatives is set to debate a Republican-proposed health care plan during its final working days of the year. John Lorink has the story.
Health care is among the last items on the House of Representatives' agenda for 2025, and it might take a Christmas miracle to get it passed.
The lack of urgency and the lack of care on this issue is so indicative of how disconnected people are from the real-life consequences that people are experiencing because of this.
The Republican-backed proposal unveiled Friday includes expanding the availability of associated health plans to allow employers to join together and buy coverage.
We have the tool in the toolbox to make another unilateral Republican run at reforms that we believe will bring the cost of care down.
It would also fund cost-sharing reduction payments to lower premiums for certain Affordable Care Act enrollees.
We want to give the money to the people and let the people buy their own great health care. And they'll save a lot of money, and it'll be great.
However, the plan doesn't extend enhanced ACA subsidies, which expire on New Year's Eve. If those Obamacare subsidies lapse, some could see their premium payments more than double, according to the KFF Nonpartisan Health Policy Research Group.
Tens of millions of Americans are now about to experience dramatically increased health insurance premiums. That's totally unacceptable.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A federal judge has denied prosecutors from accessing key evidence in the case regarding former FBI Director James Comey. The judge ordered investigators to immediately return electronic data that was gathered more than 5 years ago from Comey's lawyer and friend Daniel Richman. The judge also said that the government violated Richman's Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizures and violating his right to privacy. Comey has denied any wrongdoing.